All right, so now we'll read a little bit about the beginning of the Sankirtan movement, when Lord Caitanya just began this wonderful movement of his. Hey, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday. I want to share a little bit here. Here, this Lord Caitanya is considered by those who were his devotees, those who knew him very well. They were there. They considered this is actually that supreme being that is the witness, the Paramatma, in the hearts of every living being, everywhere, in every universe, knows the essence of everything. Yet, a being like this that knows the essence of everything is actually coming to teach what he called Bhakti Yoga and devotional service, which is the essence of everything. This is why people are suffering. Like this Lilu Mace keeps asking the question, why are people suffering? What is your answer? She's interviewing people all over the world. People are all giving answers. The closest answers that I found are those who are saying, well, it's because of love. That people need love. If they get love, they got their answer. See? So, but people don't know, well, how do we get this love? Because people are still suffering. Even though they heard that if you have love, and this one person, Robert Holden, she was interviewing, had a really good idea, and he's very excited and enthusiastic about love, and says God and love is synonymous. Still, we need more clarification on that, and actually the Vedic teachings are really good about that. They teach us, well, the essence of the supreme Vedic text is love, because people are still suffering. There you are. Even though they heard that if you have love, and this one person, you got to turn your speakers down there, Heinrich. This is you got to turn them way down because it's it says God and love is synonymous. All right, there's something wrong here. We need more clarification. Oh, I have to turn your speakers on that. And actually, your speakers are all really good back here. All right. They teach us, well, the essence of the supreme Vedic text is love, because people are still suffering. There you are. Even though they heard that if you have love, and this one person, Robert, your speakers down there. Okay, everything's screwed up now with the speakers thing. So, we need more clarification. Let's see what we can do here. And actually, the Vedic teachings are really good about it. Okay. Right? As well, the essence of the supreme Vedic text, because people are still suffering. There you are. Even though they heard that if you have love, and this one person, Robert, your speakers down there. Everything's screwed up here. Everything's screwed up. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we're back on track here. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, you're on there. I see you here. You're on, and that's good. So let's see where it goes. Technical issues. So can you hear me there? Can you hear me? Heinrich? Am I pronouncing your name right? Heinrich, or is it Heinrich? Heinrich. I don't know the German translation. Okay, so I have to look on Facebook here now to see what's going on here. Heinrich. Okay, well, it's hard. Okay. All right, anyway, I see your chat there. Let's see, I'll try and keep you posted here. Okay, you have any questions about Lord Caitanya and his, or any comments you want to say? You can write them on, or even on special, we can do a question and answer thing here. Anything about spiritual life, anything you want to ask for the world or for yourself or about spiritual life, and we'll talk about it. It'd be like a dinner with Andre here. That like that movie. You talk about spiritual conceptions and ideas. This is actually how we evolve our consciousness. It's really good, or it can be one way. So put it in the. You can put it in the chat there on the Facebook, and then I'll respond to it. You can do like that. By the way, I see you up here you're on my thing. You probably see me also in the Hangout. All right, so we're live here on YouTube. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, that's good. Uh-oh, we're getting feedback here. Anyway, it's okay. It seems to be working. Let's see what happens. Well, your camera is not working, but that's okay. At least you're there. Later on, get your new camera and put it on, and it'll have a microphone probably. If not, it's a good thing to get. You get one of these Logitechs. They're not expensive. They're cheap things. Okay, if you have any questions, write it in the chat on Facebook there. And questions, comments, anything spiritual, anything you've been thinking about, anything, question for the world, or about devotional service, about truth, whatever it is, put it up there and we'll discuss it. Okay, so I'll start here. In the meantime, this is the beginning of the Sankirtan movement, and we'll read and also discuss. I'll share some things that are coming up. Okay, so description. This is chapter 2 in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Glory, glory to Lord Caitanya, the auspiciousness of the world. Okay. So this is, as I say, I'm going to be sharing the secrets of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Secrets that I don't even necessarily know, or I may know. They may be some things I've realized before, but things also become channeled. This is actually what I'm here to share in the world. Prabhupada told me actually to do this in 1996 when I first started sharing things. And it's getting more and more refined over the years and getting more clear and purified and all of this. But there's some kind of thing that happens when I speak about Chaitanya Bhagavat. I just start reading and things are like downloaded and things light up like crazy. And it's like, it's like a strange kind of experience. And so anyway, it's like intuitively I'm perceiving things that just come out. So anyway, I'm just going to go with that intuition and just share what comes up. And like, this is because I just love talking about it. It does something. My consciousness, I feel it like raises it into some dimension. Often spiritual experiences and feelings come up. So I kind of know this is the track that I should be on. So that's why I just give a little insight into why I do what I do. Okay. So Heinrichs has a comment here. He says, I just heard about the Chaitanya Bhagavat, but I never was reading anything from its content. See? Okay. Heinrich, I hope I'm pronouncing your name. If I'm not, please forgive me. I got to hear it from your voice sometime, and then I'll know. But anyway, this is a good comment. So you heard about Chaitanya Bhagavat, but you never reading anything from its content. What I've been sharing with people lately is to turn. Okay, good, thank you. Chaitanya Bhagavat is just like I read here. All glories to Lord Caitanya because he's the supreme auspiciousness to the world. Now, this is what the devotees were actually realizing 500 years ago. There was nothing more auspicious to take their God-given focus and attention and what they're doing with their consciousness in their life and to put it on this Lord Caitanya, at least some of the time. But they would do it all the time. They got to the point where they would just meditate. See, this is, okay. All right. Turn camera, use app. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay. So they realized that it was so auspicious, so beneficial to their consciousness and their feeling about life to like well, they were there with Lord Caitanya. They see his pastimes, and when he would go away, they would just wait to hear news about what he was doing. And in the meantime, they'd be chanting his name, chanting Krishna's name, doing Sankirtan, thinking about Lord Caitanya. In this way, they were having a relationship with their soul with the super soul. See, if you watch some of the videos, you'll see I'm talking a lot about this because this is the essence of Bhagavatam, is what is the relationship between our soul and the super soul. See, Lord Caitanya was a manifestation of that God that's in the heart of everybody. See, he came, he brought that inner and brought it right before our eyes and showed, oh, you want to know what pleases that God in your heart? Well, let me tell you. He was expressing how to develop that relationship. Just like when Krishna appeared and spoke Bhagavad Gita, he told many secrets about the world and about the universe that nobody knew before, because he knows the essence of everything. That God of gods is in the heart of everybody, knows everything. So bhakti yoga and devotional service is the essence is how to develop that relationship with your soul with that super soul. See? And Lord Caitanya and these incarnations, they come here to help our consciousness evolve to that point of relationship, because it's spiritual and it makes such a difference in our lives. First of all, it frees us from suffering. All this suffering, people, I keep hearing people, even in higher consciousness, on the cutting edge of higher consciousness topics, they're still asking, well, what is your opinion? Like Lilo, she keeps asking people. Lilu Mace, doing this Juicy Living Tours into higher consciousness, keeps asking people, well, how do we stop the suffering? And people keep giving answers, but the suffering still isn't ended. So the essence is these divine Leela incarnations, they come here, and like Lord Caitanya, it's one person, it's God, or it's the Great Spirit, it's cosmic consciousness, whatever you name it, but it's that which knows the essence and everything and says, hey, you're suffering because you don't have your relationship of your soul with the super soul established, because then you get help. You don't have to do it on your own. See, even the cutting edge teachers that are doing really good work, like Eckhart Tolle, they're teaching about how to get how you're more than your mind, and you're more than this emotional roller coaster of meditating on the past and just going around in this moody state. So it's doing good, but still he's not teaching a very deep conception yet of this relationship of that soul that he calls awareness and consciousness with the super soul. This is what people need to know. This will free them completely. This will give them a life of not only abundance, but you will feel good about everything. You will feel this auspiciousness in the atmosphere, and it's not material, it's spiritual. This is what the gift that God wants to give. This is called the kingdom of God, which is not a particular place, it's a relationship between our soul and the super soul. Okay. So Heinrich says, that's true. I also experienced that there is something missing in what Eckhart Tolle teaches. See, okay, Now, what's missing there, Heinrichs and everybody, is it's just an incompletion. That's all. And it's not like to criticize him. It's just the nature and the territory of first level realization. Now we're introducing a concept that he's not teaching because he's not clear about it. It's just the way it is. First level of realization, of enlightenment, is first, this is its symptoms. You know you're a soul now. You know you're more than your mind. You know you're more than your emotions. You know you're not identified with the body now. You see your consciousness. You're an eternal spirit. This is very good. Yet you're not realization about the absolute truth is more. There's more to it because the symptom of this level is you think you're it. Often people think they're God. That get this. See, and they're teaching like, oh, you see, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. See, you just hit first level. That means now you know you're a spirit. See, and now if you take help of Bhagavad Gita, you'll see Krishna comes, who is a manifestation of the super soul. He's also spirit, but he's the sum total of all spirit. He comes into the world to teach the essence of everything. He says, okay, you're not really God, you're spirit, like me. We're together. So what you need to know is the relationship between your soul and the Supreme Spirit. Now, when you get that, now you're at second level super soul realization. You realize you're more than just a soul. Now you see the relationship between your soul and super soul. That's second level realization. Jesus came to teach basically that because he didn't speak about God. He said, I have more to tell you. I'll just call it my Father. Get that. See? And you come through the door. See, this is the teachings of Bhakti Yoga. It teaches you to come through the door. The door is the devotee. So Jesus taught that I'm the door, nobody comes to the Father but by me. See? But that's a universal teaching. It's more clearly explained in the Vedic texts. My Krishna, God, that super soul says, the Father says, my devotees are the door. Not my devotee Jesus only. No, my devotees like Jesus, like Haridas Thakur, like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, these devotees are the door. You read their realizations, you're uplifted to a higher level of consciousness. You're purified by what they speak about, because they speak about God and try and clarify this, because they have a devotional relationship established. Okay, see how juicy it gets when we have dialogue. This is what this is. This is so auspicious to talk about these things because this is what we all need to have clarification on, even the speaker. Okay, so Heinrich says, I knew you were going to be good because you're very intelligent. You have really good ideas and you're very sincere. So we're going to have great conversations here. Okay, so Heinrich says, but I also experience that you can become aware of your presence, whatever that you may be, but you cannot really be or become aware of a supreme being outside of you. Until now, it's just on the plane of concept in my mind. Okay, yeah, you see, the first level is concept. It's just like they teach in the world, in psychology. Psychology says first you get the concept, you get it intellectually. Then later you start to get the feeling, and then it becomes a manifestation in your actual worldly life experience. So it has to filter down like that. The acharyas in the Vaishnava path taught very similarly like this. Like, say, take Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, the devotees of Lord Caitanya. They had the like all levels going because they were eternal associates. So very quickly they got it intellectually. They got it emotionally and they got it physically. It just became a reality to them. This relationship between their soul and Lord Caitanya, which is the highest level of realization. That's third level Bhagavan realization, is attachment to one of the divine incarnations. See, I show you how it shows up in perspective. I can have a relationship with the super soul. I can realize, say, what Jesus came to live, and I feel God in my heart awaken. But I may not have attachment to Krishna or his name. Matter of fact, many Christians misunderstand it. They think this Krishna, and when I went into this, it's the same thing. This Krishna is the devil, because I don't have any attachment to that. There's some aversion, actually, even. But eventually it'll become an attachment. But second level, I may be aware of the super soul, but it's still not clear the extent of the absolute truth and realization of it. It happens by attachment to one of these divine Leela incarnations. See, then that's the deepest level of self-realization, and it comes just through the devotional awakening of that attachment. Many intimate realizations begin to be downloaded because of that attachment. It's amazing. I went for years. I'll share a little intimately. My journey, the very first day I got Chaitanya Charitamrita, I felt this attachment. I loved Lord Caitanya. I loved his devotees. I felt, this is my tribe, man. Where are these people? I really feel like I belong there. See? So in this attachment, I didn't know what it meant. That was my first day of being in Krishna consciousness at ISKCON, and people thought I was crazy. I didn't know why. I'm reading the book, and tears are coming. I'm laughing, and all these symptoms are coming, and I'm feeling this relation, and all these realizations are coming, and nobody's understanding what I'm talking about. This has been going on for years. Even when I started teaching after Prabhupada came. And he says, yeah, just keep talking about Lord Caitanya. I'm talking about Lord Caitanya. Only a few people are understanding, and most people are just thinking I'm crazy. I'm sharing really intimate stuff now. I don't know why I'm doing it. And I feel really playful. I feel my life is a breeze. I don't know why. I haven't had a job since 1992. Per se, but I've been speaking about Lord Caitanya, and things are coming. Sometimes people write me. One lady wrote me a check when I started teaching for $10,000. What's going on here? Why am I just I lose my inclination to do fruitive activities, and I just keep speaking about Lord Caitanya. If I go on the street, I'm on the street. I don't know what to do, but this is what I do. It's just, Prabhupada even said, you just do this, so I just do that. It's just a magic happens. And the point is, it's not like, oh, toot my horn, I'm so great. No, this is for everybody. Everybody who gets attached to Lord Caitanya, their life becomes auspicious in a way that is like unprecedented. This is what I'm here to share with people. This is what the devotees of Lord Caitanya came to share. This incarnation, Lord Caitanya, is so auspicious. Your life will become radically transformed in a way that no other teacher, no other personality can transform it. You will get a deep realization about life and truth that only this incarnation can share. It's awesome like this. So, anyway, this is Lord Caitanya. He's just an auspiciousness personified. See, this is what the devotees wanted to teach. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, Lord Caitanya is an amazing topic to focus our attention on. I'll give you a little example. I'm sharing really personally here. People may criticize all that. Okay, well, whatever. I'm speaking from my heart. Yesterday, I remember I was speaking about Lord Caitanya in the morning. I'm walking to the spa, and I have technology now. I can speak about Lord Caitanya and the truth about Bhakti and whatever comes as much as I want. So I just walk into the spa and I have this incredible conversation, just with a video camera. I didn't have anybody. I don't even have anybody to talk to now. When people start coming and we have dialogues, this is going to radically change the whole course of this planet. I know it. When the consciousness evolves, when we can have conversations, even now, this is just an amazing conversation. How do I just feel it. I know it's going to make a big difference. Not about this little me, this little person here. We're all very insignificant. But what is really significant is this Lord Caitanya, his mission to connect the souls and liberate the souls. And just by speaking about it, everything becomes transcendental. People become uplifted in an unprecedented way who turn their attention to these topics. I tell you, I've been doing this for years, and the few that have listened, they develop an attachment to Lord Caitanya also. And they sometimes run down the street in such ecstasy, starts to awaken just by watching the videos. It shows you, it's just powerful stuff. That means those people are eternally liberated, because that devotional emotion that begins to awaken is unprecedented, is beyond the mind, beyond the first level of liberation, beyond even second level super soul realization. That attachment they're gaining gives them the highest realization that's very rarely available on this planet. See, just because they were open to watching a video of these kinds of topics. See, that's the power of Lord Caitanya. And that's the power of discussion about them. And if you become attached to Lord Caitanya, then you will find the inclination to speak about these things like that and awaken others. You'll be able to light other people's candles who will listen to you. If they get through this, there's a thing, you got to get through the illusion of thinking competition and there's ego stuff and all this stuff. You got to get through all of that. You get through that, then you hear attentively these topics with respect and honor, then you become like that. You go out and you can light other people's candles just by speaking about this, whatever Lord Caitanya inspires you. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita is just these devotees who may have not been anything significant externally, but yet they were devoted to the devotees of Lord Caitanya and Lord Caitanya. And then they just started writing what Lord Caitanya dictated. Prabhupada said this. I'm just sharing what Krishna is dictating to me. Prabhupada became a great personality because of his soul's relationship was awakened for the Lord, for Krishna. And this happens for everybody. This is what Jesus was teaching when he said, it's your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom. The kingdom of God is this relationship. It's simple. How do you get it? You get it through the devotees who have this devotional relationship established. Simple. Like Prabhupada said, this bhakti yoga is simple. It's simple for the simple, but if you're in your mind, it's complicated. It's like, I can't understand. And the emotions are going, the mind is going. You can't understand it. But anyway, you just keep hanging out with devotees and then who have this devotional relationship, and the mind will clear eventually. The stuff has to come up often too. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad he's writing. Now we're getting someplace with these conversations. They're juicy. By the way, one of the obstacles is, I'm going to get to your question now. I just want to share something that I've seen. One of the obstacles to get into this consciousness is you may hear the way I speak and all this, and you think, this guy is not serious. He should be more grave and all this stuff. But actually, the consciousness that Lord Caitanya came is a very playful. This is one of the symptoms of this relation with Lord Chaitanya's devotees. The devotees are very playful. You get connected to Lord Caitanya, you're lifted above rules, regulations, and all this serious stuff, and you start playing. See? But this is a big obstacle for the Vaidhi Bhakti devotees. They don't understand this. They don't understand why Jesus said, you must become like a little child to enter the kingdom. It's a childlike mentality. The acharyas who were graves, when they're teaching something, they're just doing a trick often, because they see how people are so serious. I got to, dress the part and do all this stuff. But actually, the real mentality of the devotees, they're like Vrindavan mentality. And that's how we get it. We start to associate with devotees of that playful consciousness in Navadvip and Vrindavan. They were just playing, just spontaneously, just their love for the Lord caused them to be spontaneously playful. Very beautiful. It's a very wonderful thing. So I just want to share, because people misunderstand this consciousness. Yet from these devotees, the deepest realizations come because of this spontaneous, playful nature. Okay? So on Raganuga Bhakti, the devotees have to come to the place, if they want to get it, they want to make a transition to it, to this appreciation of the internal realization of such devotees. Because it's deeper than those who are still on the Vaidhi Bhakti platform. You have to go beyond externals. You have to go beyond even looking, is there tilak, is the head shaved, is it this material? You got to see that. Because if you don't see what's going on internally, if you can't see by the realization, then you're caught on the external devotional service. Because if a person is deeply realized on the internal level, then internally, if they share their realization, it'll be deeper than anything that you see normally anywhere. It may be difficult to even understand sometimes. Or it may clarify what has never been clarified before. So that's what you got to see. The symptom of a realization of the Leela of Lord Caitanya and Krishna is the realization will coincide with that. You will see things that either it will clarify what has been shared before, or bring forth new things that will make your head spin, actually. Okay, let's go here and see what 100 says. Well, you wrote a lot there. Okay. All right. Now, I can comprehend what you are speaking. On the other hand, I made the experience that there are certain circumstances in life which can make you aware that there is some supreme being involved, which responds to you according to the way you are seeing it, or his or her presence. But I experience that this can be done just with the past. How do you experience the presence of the Supreme? Okay, how do you experience the Supreme, whatever his or her name is, the presence of time? Hope I express myself. Okay, so all right. So how do you experience the presence of a Supreme, whatever his or her name is? Okay, this is how it works, in my experience. And I think this is, I'm just actually just confirming what is teaching in the Vedas. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it points out what is the path of Bhakti Yoga. In essence, it's the essence of it is by regular classes in Srimad Bhagavatam and by service to the pure devotee, all that's troublesome to the heart is eradicated, and then this devotion, this love for the Lord awakens. Okay? So that's really the process. And until this bhakti and this devotion awakens, we can't really say that we know anything much about God. It's still either we have trust, even if I'm a Brahmin. See, there in Chaitanya Leela, there are so many experiences and writings about the pastimes. There are many Brahmins, and also Krishna Leela, Brahmins, Brahminical people who didn't understand this God, this Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya or Ram. They didn't understand. They misunderstood. Even Brahmins. They had speculations, because speculation will appear until the heart is purified and devotion awakens. Then we start to feel this relationship. If you don't feel a relationship with Krishna or with Lord Chaitanya, you really don't know God yet. You can even be considered an atheist, because an atheist means devoid of affection, devoid of, this it's and it can be opposition. You might not even like, you might be a Brahmin and you don't like a devotee. See, this is the teaching of Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya commented on it. He said, there are many people who say they're my devotees, but they're not really my devotees. But if a person is a devotee of my devotee, then that is my real devotee. See, if I have love and affection for a devotee, that means I have a relationship with God. They're the door. It's like this. I could be fooling myself, and this Maya is it just fools everybody. I can be looked on as the world as a great devotee, and I'm a representative of God and everything. But if I don't really love a devotee, then I don't really have a feeling, devotional, pure relationship with God awakened yet. I'm just fooling the world. The world can be fooled by intellect, by a developed, intellect, still have trickiness and all of that in there. And then I prove that I don't really have a direct relationship with God awakened yet, because I don't love the devotee. I'm trying to either imitate the devotee, or I'm trying to compete with the devotee, or I hate the devotee. That's impurity in there. Now, if I love the devotees, truly, if I'm surrendered to Jesus, if I'm surrendered to Prabhupada in my heart, then this is the door, and then I start purifying my heart and reach this devotional platform will eventually awaken. See? But it comes by being a servant of the devotee. Really, we have to be like that. And that's how we get it out of here and more into the feeling, because by close association with the devotees of the Lord, we get purified. And often we have to go through a lot of stuff, It's not always so quick that you can get this. We get this. We have to go through a lot of purification. Okay? So that's how you know. When you hit the level of devotion awakening in your heart, then you're going to begin to know something about God through devotion. Simultaneously, the Vedas say, when devotion awakens, realization comes. Then you realize, wow, Krishna is God. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme One. There's none other like him. Because you can't the Lord is disappeared. Unless you get a special boon, you could see the Leela. Still, you may not see the Leela per se, but you'll have realization that the Leela is true because of devotion awakens in the heart. It opens the eye of awareness of that truth. Lord Chaitanya is subtle. He's beyond the mind, beyond all of these things. But we can realize it with the awakening of devotion. Okay, let's see. You wrote again. Okay, so Heinrich says, so would you say that true awareness or so-called realization of God is done by feeling or sensing somehow the presence of that Supreme Being. Okay. It's like a simultaneous experience of it's not only sensing with the mundane senses. We have spiritual senses when they are awakened at a certain point. See, this is why the process has always been the same. The universal process of bhakti was taught by Jesus. It was taught by in the Vedas by the Vaishnava teaching. It's universal. It was taught by Moses even. It's by, okay, let's break down this verse in a universal context. By regular classes in Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence of that is you hear from a person who has realized a certain level of devotional consciousness. See, they've realized their relationship with God. Okay? So, okay, their devotion and love for the Lord is awakened. Now, by regular classes in Srimad Bhagavatam means Bhagavatam is the truth spoken by those devotees, whatever they speak. Whatever they speak will be from that platform of realization and charged with purifying power. See, by regular classes, so you hear, you're staying close and you're listening, you get purified by that hearing. See, all that's troublesome to the heart, all that speculation, all kinds of things become cleansed from the heart, and then this devotion awakens, and then you start to know what is God. Yourself, personally. See, that was the Leela of Jesus' teaching. Jesus was, Peter said, why are you going to the sinner's house? And he said, I'll go anywhere where anybody will listen to what I have to say. Anyone who listens to a person who has awakened their relationship with God gets purified. If you don't listen, then you're kind of going to be listening to the TVs, you're listening to what other people are saying that are speaking about the weather or speculation. They have no devotion awakened, therefore what they say cannot help you any much. You might even go to gurus, Vaishnava gurus. Their devotion has awakened their heart and they're speaking all about the Vedas and they can't help you very well. Prabhupada said that in the Nectar of Instruction, purport, text 5. Those persons who haven't realized their relationship with Krishna or with God, they can't help you very well. Yeah, they're going to, they'll repeat the Vedas and all of this, but it'll be all here. With many Vaishnavas, it's very little even in the awakening yet. It's all more up in here. And they reflect that. Okay, so Heinrich says, so what? Okay, so Heinrich says, so would you say that true awareness or so-called realization of God is done by feeling or sensing I'm just reading again. Okay. Yeah, so we got to awaken the spiritual senses, and that's the process. It's a very simple thing. If you hang out close to those who are in a certain consciousness, say like transcendental consciousness, they're thinking about God because they like it, because it awakens their love. And that love is everything. Devotion to the Lord gives you everything. Things happen spontaneously in your life. You get protection. You conquer the mind. The mind doesn't bother you anymore. Everything becomes auspicious in your life. Your health is better, usually. Your emotional health is good. People can't control you like that, or jerk you around. You become freedom of all these manipulators on the level of religions. It's not that they're bad. It's just their level, and they're controlling the world. They're controlling even devotees who are not on the devotional platform. Even gurus are controlling people, and a lot of times they're not so advanced. But the world is thinking now they have hundreds of thousands of followers. See? So you become an unknown in many ways. yet still you're feeling good inside. And ultimately, you make a big difference in people's lives. This is what devotion does. There are not so many people have realized the platform of devotion, but more and more will. All it takes is one devotee or a few devotees who are realizing this awakening and this relationship with Lord Caitanya to change the whole world. Prabhupada did, made a big dent in this Maya. Look how many people are on the path of Krishna consciousness. Of course, they're still having problems, and there's going to be problems. It's just, takes a while. It's just first you got to, go through things and get purified, and a lot of life experiences. We're all going through stuff. But look what a person like Prabhupada did. It was based on his love for Krishna awakening. He was able to do what he did. If that love for Krishna was not there, he would just be like one of the other Brahmins. How much did his other godbrothers really do? I mean, many of them. A lot of them were flying on his, reputation, and they still are. Even his own disciples are flying on his reputation. They weren't like, you see, a person that has a devotional relationship, and that's why Krishna takes it all away. They have basically no organization to depend on to shake and rock the world, because Krishna wants to show, you see, just my devotee depending on me, look what they can do. See? And everybody else has to depend on the organization. And if you don't kiss ass or kiss butt, and do what the organization says, they'll throw you out. And then you got to compromise in all of this. This is not a mature devotional relationship. This is why Krishna took everything away from Prabhupada. That's why all devotees usually start from scratch. Bhaktisiddhanta started from scratch, nobody behind him. It has to be like this. So you got to take all of that fetters away, because you can't be controlled like that. The Lord has to control the devotee in that relationship. Even to get the association of such devotees, all those people with the organizations are always usually criticizing them, because they see it's some threat to their, their position and all of this. Jesus talked about that. I'll get to this in a second. Jesus talked about this. When he said, oh, you Pharisees, you're telling everybody not to listen to me, even though that's the entrance to the kingdom of God. So you hide the entrance. You lie about me, you cheat, and you do all these things because you're afraid. You're afraid that I come here to threaten your position. I come here to give you a better position. But they don't know it. That's what Maya does. So there's that obstacle to the devotees. I have it all the time. People come and they say, this, he did this and he did that, or don't go there, don't listen to him, and all these things. Who am I still? But there's something coming through that's pretty earth-shattering at times. But they did that with anybody who is trying to preach, and from this relationship platform. There's obstacles you got to get through. Okay, let's see here. All right. So how come, back to Eckhart Tolle. Good. Okay. He teaches, he never speaks anything about becoming purified or all this stuff. He just gives practical hints on how to overcome thought patterns of your mind and thus become aware and your own power. That's his unique contribution. This man is aware of himself and teaches others how to do it practically, oneself too. I agree. It's very good. That's why I say his teachings are very good for people. They connect. See, people see that, look at this, I'm trapped by my mind, because, see, first level of realization, Eckhart Tolle is sharing, okay, listen, you're more than your mind. You're more than your thoughts. You're more than your emotions. I mean, the Buddha was teaching something like this. Actually, Eckhart Tolle admits it. He says, actually, I'm teaching what the Buddha didn't speak about because it's beyond the mind. Okay? I'm teaching, when he was asked about what I'm teaching now, he was silent on the matter. They asked him, is there anything more than the Four Noble Truths? And he didn't say anything. And that was the teaching, because it's beyond the mind. Now, this is a very important thing related to what we're teaching here, what I'm teaching, okay? Now, Eckhart Tolle is teaching what the Buddha was silent on, because the Buddha said, it's beyond the mind. There's no words to teach what I'm teaching. Plus, people at the time were probably not ready to hear that. Just stick with the Four Noble Truths. It's just like Moses came and taught the 10 Commandments. You know, this is like the Four Noble Truths type thing. The 10 Commandments. You do this, and that's what God wants you to know now. I'm sharing that. But he was silent on what Jesus was. He brought later. Jesus brought another teaching. So Eckhart Tolle is now speaking about the unspeakable. Now what happens? A miracle. People start waking up to that realization that they're not their mind, that there's something more than that. Now, what is Gaur Haridas doing here? He's also speaking about something even more unspeakable. It's so far beyond the mind. It's like light years beyond that. So there's another level of realization here that we're speaking about. Yet, and the proof is, if what I'm saying here is really right, people can go, oh, you're an ego and all these. Okay, fine. And they say that about Eckhart Tolle, and that's okay, fine. But people are waking up to first level realization by hearing from Eckhart Tolle. So they can say whatever they want, but there's a touchstone there. And people already in demonstration, what I'm speaking is true and right and is correct, people will wake up to this level of devotional experience by hearing it. So they can say, oh, he's an ego, he's this, he's that, he's all this. But whoever listens, if they get an experience of devotion, even though I'm speaking about what is even unmentionable, then they could see there's a touchstone effect here. See, that's what they did with Lord Caitanya and his devotees. They said there's touchstone there because whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, no matter how crazy their activities seem to be, people are waking up to that consciousness. That's how it works. See, same thing with Prabhupada. Prabhupada was teaching basically Vaidhi Bhakti, and people were waking up to faith in Krishna on the level of Vaidhi Bhakti because that was his mission. See? So this is whatever the Lord wants, he'll empower somebody to have. So the first thing is people have to believe in Krishna. They have to believe and understand Lord Caitanya, at least intellectually, right? That was the mission mainly. Now, I know for myself, and Prabhupada has many devotees, I don't know what's going on. These activities are very deep, but he came to me in a dream, lucid, when I gave the first class under inspiration publicly, and people were just dropping down to the floor basically and having experiences. One lady saw I don't want to get too far into this, but basically people were having devotional awakenings. Prabhupada came immediately in this lucid dream. I was awake, man, and he sat right down next to me. He was blissed out, said, oh, this is so great. Just keep doing this, man. No big instruction. He said, you just keep chanting Lord Chaitanya's glories and see what happens. You know? Just keep doing it. He preached what he preached for 40 years, and then people started coming. You know? Now also I'm preaching, and he actually confirmed and then said, and ordered, he said, you just do this. I just do this. Speak about Lord Caitanya and just get purified more, and other people are awakening. You know, many people get this devotion awakening. They don't even know how great it is. It took me years to know the value of this relationship. Because people can't reflect. Most people are in some other level of consciousness. They're not even presencing first level realization. Or they're just working on that. And here Gorahari is talking about, well, turn that consciousness, this is the next teaching, if you get this, turn your awareness that you're not your mind and your consciousness and your awareness. Now focus that. See, the attributes of the soul is you can focus that attention. You have attention, you have focus. Focus it on Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Hear from his devotees. And this awakening to another stage of consciousness will awaken. You will feel this devotion arise in your heart, and you'll have a higher level of realization than that, than even what Eckhart Tolle is teaching. No criticism. He's doing great work, man. The guy is a humble, honest man, you know, and he deserves his books being out there because he doesn't even care about it. Even he's realized, you know, he's not into this stuff of being, you know, anything great and all this. This is what we see. This is why people like him. He's an honest person on devotional, on the first level realization. That's why it has the symptoms of this. You can do it on your own because you are. But still, you can't really perfect it. You'll see. The Vedas even teach that you'll fall back into the illusion. Because you can't do it on your own. We need the help. Our soul, which is clear and pure, needs the help of the super soul to overcome the Maya. It's the Maya. Maya was created by God, you know. We need his help, or her. It's a his, her. So don't worry, it's not sectarian here, or feminist any out there. It's just, it's him, her. It's a androgynistic thing. Radha and Krishna. Lord Caitanya was a combined form of Radha and Krishna. We need their help. His, her help. So Heinrich says, I agree fully on what you speak. Oh, good. Nice. So you see how it works. The conversation makes it really juicy. It's all about conversation. You know, so I'm looking forward to when more people do come on live and we have these conversations, because this is how we go deep. Srimad Bhagavatam has enlightened so many people, and all it is conversation and question and answers. Okay. Same thing here. It's so enlivening to have these kind of dialogues. So keep coming on, man. You know, keep doing it. I'm sure we'll both be meditating now on reflecting on what happened here in our conversation, and new things will come. So write them down, you know, and put them in. We'll talk more, discuss more. Maybe, and actually later you get your camera working and all of this, then we can actually do it live on the Google Plus. You know, you don't have to just write. Ah, wow. It's amazing. I love this. This is what I was born for. You know, I just love it. You know, it's like this will happen to everybody. Anybody who comes here and listens to these topics, you'll become a motor mouth like me. But you won't be talking about the world. You'll be talking about things that give you life. You know, like Jesus taught, I have life, I can give it to you abundantly. So his devotees, and this is how it is, it's a universal thing. His devotees, like Paul, Paul would start speaking in the afternoon, and he would speak all night about the kingdom of God and Jesus, because he was empowering him. How it is, Jesus would also speak a long time. Even the disciples who were not yet at that level of Jesus is what he came to give, Jesus was speaking about the kingdom. We don't have any idea, but you want to have an idea what it is for that Jesus spoke. You go listen to Prabhupada speaking and going on tour and just blissed out and blissing people out. and overturning all of the Maya. All these, Maya is speaking and speaking and speaking on the TV as it's rattling, going and going. You just get one devotee. He's purifying the whole planet, speaking and speaking about Krishna and the deep things and realizations. People don't even know that when devotees are speaking, when Jesus was speaking, and those who are preachers that are connected with the Lord, they're speaking and they're purifying the consciousness. Even unconsciously, people are feeling the vibrations going out. It's the potency of devotional service. So the devotees of Jesus at that time, they said, Master, they were hungry, they projected on him, Master, stop preaching, you gotta eat. And he said, I have food that you know not of. What was that food? Speaking about the kingdom of God. All devotees, they get that opulence. So anybody comes here and listens will find the glories of Lord Caitanya coming on their mouth. You like that, and then you purify people. You cut down the Maya with your tongue. Jesus said, he talked about this. Jesus is great. I love his sayings, man. He said, I'm gonna cut down this devil with the razor sharp tongue. This is the speaking about the glories of the Lord, chanting the glories. The devotee, when they start chanting, the glories of the Lord or the mantra, it's the same effect. A devotee who is meant to speak the glories, they just speak and they speak and they speak, and they're relishing on their tongue these things. Or a devotee is just chanting the name. It's just chanting, can't give it up. It's just, I want to chant, 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 and everything's getting purified. That's why people might think that a devotee is like a motor mouth, like the people that in the world. He's just talking just like people talk. You can't stop them from talking. Well, that's the perverted reflection of the truth. Okay, let's see here. Oh, good, Deepak. Let's talk about him. Okay. It's true. I read once a comment from the publisher of Eckhart Tolle, who happens to be the same Deepak on Deepak Chopra. I read that same comment actually too. I remember. Another spiritual teacher and the publisher of this two-man said that Eckhart Tolle would never phone him to just ask how many of his books were sold worldwide. But Deepak Chopra would always ask him, and this fits the question, by this, the book publisher admits that Eckhart Tolle is just interested in teaching, while Deepak Chopra would see that he uses his books for spreading his income. Okay, well, yeah, that's there. And I want to share something. Nothing bad about Deepak, because he's also helping a lot of people. He's also a very good teacher, a very intelligent person. It's just, there's just different levels of consciousness. And actually, there's an interesting relation that we can talk about, the process of Wayne Dyer. I also like him a lot. I like them all because they're all helping the consciousness evolve on the planet. Everybody has their position, and they're those who are awakening at whatever consciousness that they're meant to do. And it doesn't matter that you get into this higher or lower or anything. The bottom line is those who are teachers, how inspired they are. See, this is the essence. Deepak, I know he's inspired. I know Eckhart Tolle is inspired. That's why I can't say, hey, you're wrong. I'm doing better than you. No. Hey, the deeper teaching of Bhagavad Gita is you got to see what Bhagavad Gita is teaching. Really see it. Bhagavad Gita says, I'm the super soul in the heart of everybody, and I inspire them. I inspire people. So if a person is with their inspiration, whatever that is, from in the heart, that's what they're to be doing. And if I go against that, I'm an offender, man. I'm an offense. Unless I'm doing some, there's higher ways to play with this. But in essence, I have to be sensitive to how the super soul is working in the hearts of everybody. That means whatever's happening is important. And if that person is in touch with what touches, moves, and inspires them, they're making a difference on the planet, because that means Krishna or God or whatever people want to call that presence inside them is saying, this is important and you're in touch with it. I'm very happy with you. You know, I remember a statement from Paul Newman. He's also an awesome person. He was into health and good things and made good products actually after his acting career. And he was on his deathbed and he was so happy with his life. I just feel moved even speaking about this. He says, I have no regrets. I lived a wonderful life. I did what I wanted to do and what I was inspired to do, and I helped many people. So I have no regrets. I want to, he went like that. Just happy. I read his statement, in his deathbed like this. So, God was pleased with him. He was pleased with the work he did. So we're all like this. And we may not die that we're really pleased with what we did. But anyway, the eternity is a long time, and we're all working on it like this. Developing a relationship of our soul with the Supreme Soul is the sum total. I mean, it's the end all and be all of human evolution. If we get that, then we find out what is real liberation. Not even first level realization, one still has a tendency they can fall down. But that's a good position, and I'm working with that. You notice I use that foundation that Eckhart Tolle is teaching and say, okay, now you can do this, try this. Take that attention and that focus that now you see your thoughts, now you see your mind, now you see the world, but you don't have to spend all your time just focusing on a flower. Now turn it to this Lord Caitanya and the mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, and just associate, put your attention on that and see your experience. For those who are actually liberated, devotion will begin to awaken very quickly if they will accept this instruction. Anybody out there that's like a disciple of Eckhart Tolle, and you really love his teachings, and now you may be asking yourself, is there anything more what you can do with this consciousness? I say, anybody who follows this, and you're actually somewhat liberated, you will find, if you think about Lord Caitanya, or you start chanting the mantra and associating with this consciousness which is coming through the scriptures and the books written by these acharyas, this devotion will awaken your heart very quickly, and you'll be conscious of even a deeper realization of truth, deeper than that first level of realization. I say that, if anybody will follow this. And I'll tell you, there was an example of this. There was a liberated sannyasi this was mentioned in the Chaitanya Leela. There was a naked sannyasi who had realized Brahman, but he couldn't understand Lord Caitanya. See, that's another level of realization. Vakreshwar Pandit was this playful dancer who could dance 72 hours. That was his preaching. See? Like Prabhupada could speak for hours and hours, and always speak about Lord Krishna, like this. All devotees have some kind of opulence. Well, Vakreshwar Pandit was a dancer. He could dance a long time with great ecstasy, and he would be liberating people just with his dancing. So sees the Lord Caitanya had many wonderful ways of expanding or expressing devotion to liberate and purify people. So anyway, Vakreshwar Pandit meets a naked sannyasi who was liberated. But at first level, you can't understand the next platform. You can't understand clearly the super soul because you're into doing it on your own. You're not into relationship with a higher power yet. You don't know that. See? You just realize your consciousness, your awareness. So this sannyasi didn't understand Vakreshwar's relationship on a higher level of consciousness. And he started laughing at him. He said, why are you worshiping Lord Caitanya? He's just a materially emotional. That's what it appears, even first level. If you see a devotee, you'll easily misunderstand. Even for the liberated soul, if they want to make more advancement, or their disciples or students who are working on that, if they want to make more advancement, they have to hear the teachings that come through a person who has presenced this at least second level realization, if not the third. You have to hear from a devotee who has devotion. See, if you do, then this opens up. They're the door to a deeper level. Just like Eckhart Tolle is a door for people identifying with their mind as truth, or their emotion, or their body. He's the door for that if they listen. And people are, and they wake up. They're awakening to that level. But if anybody wants a deeper awakening to the devotional platform, you got to hear from those who are presencing that level of realization, even though they're speaking about the unspeakable. Their words, their sound vibration has an inconceivable spiritual potency to wake people up to that level. That's how this is transmitted. It's a transmission. So anyway, Deepak and Eckhart Tolle, they're inspired to their whatever level. Now, Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer went through a phase. He spoke about it. He says, I went through a phase where I was checking, because he used to be, when he first started teaching, he got very famous pretty quick. He went out, did a little groundwork, and then he became famous. He put him on talk shows and everything. And he was reflecting on it. He says, I was always checking my bestseller. It was my book still on the bestseller list. And he said it was some ego in that. He was saying there's ego in that. He said, I was doing this. He said, but now he's getting into first level realization. Now he's into the Tao. See, the Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao. See, that's the first teaching. That's about awareness. And he was also into awareness over the years, and he really is attracted to this. See? So now he said, I had a conversation with my wife, and he also noticed that he's the first most influential person on the planet. He's on this list. He's in of the 100 most influential persons on the planet. He's the first or second. I think he's one of the three, and then he's topmost. So he even said, I went to my ex-wife who divorced him. Who knows why? He said, I'm on that list, and I'm the first one. She says, well, you're not on my list. And he said that really deflated any ego he had. See? So you see, there's a process of purification that comes. Eckhart Tolle is very good at his level because he's very humbled. He came to that point. Now that person went through a lot of pain. Hear his story, man. So much pain that it processed to the level of this first level of consciousness. Realizing that. And there's a humility that comes from that. There's a humility that Wayne Dyer is also walking through that process, because he's also talking about, he was also teaching people about, this is where, on the law of attraction, the New Age is pretty much on this other kind of consciousness, where they're saying, hey, now you negative people that have been identifying with negative stories, now you can use your mind to make affirmations and live a positive story, a very positive life, and you can get wealth and you can get all of this. So Wayne Dyer was teaching kind of like that, the power of affirmations and all of this. So he's into that. But now he's moving to a deeper level. He's teaching about the Tao. Actually, I heard him. Goes out and he preaches about this thing you can't talk about. See, everybody, we're all on this, it's like we're all on a train of consciousness. We're all connected, and everybody is advancing to what they advance. I'm inspired myself to do what I do, even though even a few people are interested right now. I know later on people will come. You know, Prabhupada wouldn't have said keep doing that unless it was important. I also see some elements coming now already. You know, so many things. Yeah, you know, you just got to do what inspires you. You know, so if like a person, if they're not inspired about knowing what they're here to do, sometimes it might be just to help somebody that or assist them. You know, if they feel inspired doing that, that's their mission. You know, system, because nobody can. We can't inspire ourselves per se. If we're doing the right thing, the right thing means we're pleasing this God in the heart, which we all have a relationship with. Then we will feel it in here. All devotees have to come to this place. I know there are devotees. There's one I'm thinking about now. I don't want to mention the names. They're having difficulty with this because a lot of them are trying to let other people tell them too much what to do. But people have to learn to fly their own ship solo. And it's not solo, really, because that relationship right there in the heart is what is needed to really fly the ship. It's not alone. That's why you have first level realization, and it's not enough to fly the ship. You'll probably fall back into the Maya at some point because it's too big. But when you get this connection here, deep in the heart, and then you go deeper and deeper, then you get protected from all the illusions and all of this. Now that's the deeper liberation. Okay. All right, let's see. Another question or comment? So what is your impression about Neil Donald Walsh? I couldn't yet read this man in all what he is disclosing to us as coming from God. Sometimes I have even the impression that what he is saying sometimes may come from God. But I feel that this is not my God, really. Well, you know, one thing I'd like to ask is I don't know who he is. What is his message, in essence?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me the essence of his message, if you can do that, because I haven't looked him up yet. Okay, so he's okay. It's coming. Yeah. So here we go. I am, in essence, a kind of God myself. Oh yeah. So the essence of this message, Henrich is saying, is I am, in a sense, a kind of God myself. Okay, this is kind of indicament of the. This is a symptom of the first level of realization. First level of enlightenment, you come in touch with this soul. You see, this soul is not the body. You see your consciousness. This is considered you start to feel your immortality, because this consciousness cannot be destroyed even if the body is destroyed. You'll see, you go on. I had it once an out of the body experience. I had others, but we'll talk about this one. I had an out of the body experience in 1972 when I was just developing in my journey into knowing that I'm spirit. So I had this out of the body experience. I felt my consciousness go out of the body. I was fully conscious. I was not asleep, not at all. I was laying on the couch, but I wasn't asleep. I woke up, this energy awoke in my body, and I felt it. They called it Kundalini type energy. I felt it moving in through my body, full consciousness, and it came into the head area and then went out, and who I was went with it. I was that. And that conscious, I knew I was conscious. It's like, whoa, the body's laying on the bed. So I got a little glimpse of how it is when you die. Body's right there. I'm full conscious, and I'm up there floating in this spatial area, feeling exactly how I felt in the body, like I had just a glove on, but my consciousness was the real thing. Okay? That's first level, basically, realizing you realize I'm consciousness. I'm not this glove. You see, even the mind. The mind is like a skin. It's like I'm more than that. See? So there's this experience of, wow, I'm the spirit. Maybe I'm God. See, but this is partial realization of the truth. See? We're partially realizing the deeper truth, but now we haven't realized everything. So those persons realizing this level, this platform of consciousness, often misunderstand it and say, oh, I think I'm God. And you know what? Look at me. I can create my reality. I can do this. I can do that. And you, to some extent, can. Okay? But this is just the realization that you're the soul. And it speaks about this, even in the Vedas. This is the beauty of the Vedic literature. These persons who realized this platform of consciousness spoke about it. So often those people who realize the impersonal conception, this is called the impersonal conception, of the absolute, that level often think they're God. This is the idea. The sannyasis in India 500 years ago, even now, they go around and say they're Narayan. I'm God, I'm God. They know they're spirit. Okay, Bhagavad Gita is the further clarification of this issue, where it says, yeah, you're a particle of spirit, you are spirit, but you're an individual spirit, and you're only the size of an atom, by the way. The supersoul is the vast reservoir of consciousness, and it's a person, just like you're a person. Personality, you're a personality. Even when you're conscious of that, you're still a person, an individual. Okay? That's why even a person who's conscious, you can't experience what I'm experiencing. You know, if you're feeling pain, I may have some empathy, but your pain is your pain. Your karma is your karma. You're an individual soul going through your individual experiences. I mean, you could express yourself poetically, you know, and the beauty of devotees is they can express their realizations, and those who listen, people wake up to that consciousness. But even those people wake up, they will have their individual integration of that consciousness and experience of that kind of consciousness. See, because they're individual. See, this is the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He taught simultaneous oneness and difference. See, we'll be one family in devotional consciousness, and like if one becomes attached to Lord Chaitanya, we become family in that sense. Ultimately, I mean, this in an experiential way, a part of the liberated family. We're all family potentially, because we're all related, but many people are not woke up yet. See? But those who wake up to the family of devotees of one of these incarnations, especially Lord Chaitanya, then we all feel this unique connectedness of a devotional family, become an insider. But yet, each family member will have their individual consciousness, and it's very beautiful to see, very unique, very creative expression of that family. Heinrich says, exactly, that is what these people say, namely that I am you and you are me in essence. Yes, and because it is like this, I should be aware that when I do things which make harm to you, I would harm in essence myself. See, that's sort of it. See, I am you and you are me. That's not the full extent of it. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to clarify this issue by bringing forth a deeper sense of consciousness. It's not exactly I am you and I am me. You are me. That's the first level realization, means there's a misunderstanding there still. Okay? We are of the same energy. Okay? Yet we are all simultaneously unique individuals. Just like Krishna, you know the manifestation, Krishna, Lord Caitanya, Ram, they're individual manifestations of the supreme absolute truth. Individual. Okay? Yet there's a little added thing with God, because God can be the same person and take these individual manifestations and will express himself according to these manifestations. That's another reason why to become attached to Lord Caitanya, because the expression of the Godhead in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the combined form of Radha and Krishna, expressing the deepest, most intimate realization that can be expressed that's ever been expressed in this world. It's the most deep release of mercy on this planet. And it's even said his glory is he's considered the most merciful and the most jubilant. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. The most merciful because he's experiencing the greatest emotional experience of bhakti, devotion available. And simultaneously, he's the most merciful because just by experiencing it, he's distributing it. And that's the secret of Raganuga Bhakti. That's how he distributed it. He relished this publicly even. Tasting these ecstasies, so much so, people saw, wow, this is so beautiful. We don't quite understand his consciousness or what he's doing, but look at the beauty of this. It's the same thing with a devotee. When a devotee is an associate of Lord Caitanya, when they're speaking or hearing about Lord Caitanya, there's a glow and a beauty in their voice, in their poetry, in their lectures, in whatever they're expressing, in their music. It's beautiful. If you can appreciate, some people, eventually people will appreciate the devotees. But often people are still bewildered. They think, they can't see the differences in the world. They're so bewildered by the Maya. So it takes a while. It's like even Lord Caitanya, they couldn't appreciate Lord Caitanya in his early Leela at first. Some appreciated somewhat, they say, oh, he's very beautiful and all this. But gradually, he and his devotees purified the consciousness in the planet more and more and more to realize the more of the value of devotees and devotional service and Lord Caitanya and his mission. We're in the same process now. Everyone on this planet is increasingly learning. Again, there's a new golden age and to appreciating more and more the value of Lord Caitanya, Krishna, Radha, and this consciousness and the devotees here who are expressing it. Often devotees on this level of consciousness of really having a relationship with Lord Caitanya are secret. You can't really, know who they are or anything because you can't understand their kind. It's the deepest realization. Yeah, so I am you, I am me, that's just a partial understanding, and it's not quite true. See, there's mistakes in that. Because logically, oh, you are me and I am you? Well, any pain that you feel, I don't feel. So, you can't really say that. It's not even logical, even to the logical mind. I may empathize. Oh, I'm really sorry you're feeling that, but you got to feel that. It's not me. It's not my karma. Just like if I'm liberated and you're me and I'm you, well, you're not liberated yet. So, it's not quite true that you're me and no, we have the same connection, that energy. We're using the same energy, but your consciousness is on another level than mine. Or you're liberated and I'm not liberated. The best I can do is associate with you and become liberated, but then I'm also always going to be uniquely my own person. This is simultaneous oneness and difference. So, Heinrich says, I greatly appreciate your company online. You clarified a lot of things which bothered me. Thank you. So you see, this is how it works, is it's in relationship. Even here, we're having a relationship discussion. And in relationship, we all get more clear. I got more clear. You get more clear. And people who watch the video will get more clear. It's always in relationship. And also, not only externally, the whole idea is this conversations lead to our own deeper awakenings with that God self, that higher self, whatever you want to call it, and get that relationship going also, and we get more clear like that also, okay? In that relationship. And then it starts firing on both simultaneously, inner and outer. And that's where the really creative side of enlightenment comes. Eckhart Tolle is doing like that also. And all creative people, they can also not just be with God inside, they can also be with God by speaking about God or doing some creative expression in this world. That's becoming a perfection of that inner relationship that we all have. The inner becomes the outer. That's when a devotee stays in meditation, because just by speaking about the glories or doing a painting or writing a poem, they're in touch with God inside through their unique expression. See, that's where it's all leading. Some people get to it just by hearing from devotees. Or like hearing from a devotee, you start to experience this devotional relationship awakening. And then later, you start speaking or writing or doing something that causes this relationship to activate and this devotion to be relished and these realizations to come. And it becomes just really juicy life. Then, it says Lord Caitanya is the most auspicious person, right? Well, his devotees become like that also, because they're speaking so much about Lord Caitanya and Bhakti Yoga and all of that. They become the most auspicious. See, the Lord glorifies the devotees, because it's a reciprocal thing. The devotee first starts from hearing the glorification. Oh, the Lord is so pleased and everything. Okay? Then gradually the devotee starts speaking about the Lord, and glorifying Lord Caitanya and truth and bhakti like this. And then the devotees become the object of glorification too. then you see, that's how devotees become, famous in the world. Not that they're looking for fame. It's just they just love talking about the Lord, and the Lord makes them famous. And there's a wonderful story about this. It's like this. Yeah, I'll look at this area. It's like the story, you got to hear this, really great one. The devotees of Lord Caitanya, they were associating with the Lord and traveling with the Lord. And this is in Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of these leelas. It became so amazing to them. They thought, here we are, just ordinary persons, because a devotee feels himself really ordinary. Okay? Here we are, just ordinary persons, but just because we love Lord Caitanya, we love to talk about him, we love to share him with our brothers and sisters. Everybody's giving us honor and respect. They weren't looking for it. That's kind of like the Eckhart Tolle, you know. He's getting all this honor and respect, and he comments on it because he's a real honest person and really presencing powerfully this first level, you know. He's doing a really important mission here. So, and he says, yeah, you know, look at this. He says, I find it interesting. People think I'm important. You know, they look at me and they say, I'm an important person here. And he's looking kind of like a sense of wonder, like a child, you know, like, wow, you know, this is interesting. All this money is coming and all these books are going out. People, he says, wow, this is really interesting. And that's how it is. When you, even at first level, if you're really getting this, there's a detachment that comes. And you're just awestruck. Look at this. You know, you're not looking for name or fame or anything, but it comes. It is by nature of just being related and keeping this relationship going with God, you know, your internal relationship, and expressing it. See, devotees become, I'll just explain the mechanics of it. Prabhupada became famous because he started not only keeping this internal, his relationship with God, he started preaching. And his guru even said, you just preach and the money will come and everything will come to do what you're here to do. So he just started doing it gradually, and he preached, and it takes a while. You know, the planet has to get purified. And he starts writing books now. Then people start reading the books and having awakenings to the point, wow, Krishna is God. We believe it. And then he becomes famous. Now he's getting interviews and all of this. That's how auspicious Lord Caitanya is. It makes everybody who becomes his devotee that auspicious. You think it's only meant for Prabhupada? No, you take his shelter honestly and without guile, without really trying. I mean, even if you try to become, you know, famous and you're jealous of Prabhupada or any devotee and you just do it for that, you'll get purified eventually. But when you start just serving the devotees because it's just wonderful to serve devotees, to follow their instructions because it's just to do it, and you're like from without guile, and then devotion awakens in your heart, and you just love to talk about Lord Caitanya because it just feels so good, and you feel so elevated, and you get so many realizations, and it's like you just got all these valuable jewels dropped on you. Now you're ready for fame. And then when it comes, and it's like, oh, well, don't let me fall into the Maya thinking I'm an important person. And, you know, like I'm like, you know, get enthralled with that. See, it's kind of, that's really the path to it. So preaching, you know, it's like the Lord wants he wants all his devotees to be famous. But, you know, he doesn't want them to fall into like illusion either, because the Maya is very strong. Name and fame is, you know, donkey urine. This is what Rupa Goswami, oh no, Raghunath Das called it donkey urine, this name and fame. It is really, it's the last test, man. You got to, it's the last, that false ego, that subtle layer of it is the last test to get through. And even devotees on a devotional platform sometimes, well, often they have to go through that, get purified a lot. You know, even any little, you know, there's sometimes a little maybe desire for fame might be there, but that has to be pure and will be purified out. One just goes on hearing and chanting and teaching and all of this, you know, gradually. Please do not read out loud, but I have to go now. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I don't understand what you mean by please do not read out loud. Okay, my friend. Thank you for coming. And this has been a wonderful conversation. I hope we have many more. And have a wonderful day, everybody, and those who watch the videos. All glories to these great devotees who are the door that leads to our relationship with God. This is why they come here, is to help us connect directly with the Supreme Being in our own hearts. See? All right, we'll end this hangout now. What is this here? Uh-huh. Okay.